Hello and welcome along to the Match Champions League special as we react to Real Madrid's Champions League draw, which has pitted Los Blancos against Turkish side Galatasaray. With me on the programme today is Sid Lowe. Sid, welcome along.
Thanks very much.
Good draw for Real Madrid?
Yes, in truth, I think it is. Galatasaray were the side that everybody wanted. I think they're seen as the weakest side in the draw so far. You look at their results in the Champions League, and this is a team that finished second in the group to Manchester United, which doesn't sound too bad, but level on points with Cluj, having beaten United in the last game when United had little to play for. They then got, in theory at least, the weakest team in the draw, which was Schalke, which is why they've reached this point. Now, that's not to say they're not a good side, that's not to say they haven't got anything going for them, but Madrid will be very, very clear favourites.
Is there a suggestion that Real Madrid have done it the hard way up until now? They've beaten Manchester United, they were up against Borussia Dortmund, Manchester City, Ajax in the Champions League. They were almost due a slightly more straightforward time.
Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. That's one way of looking at it, isn't it? The group was tough, although I suppose they were slightly helped by the fact that Manchester City just didn't get it right in Europe at all. They really didn't. But the group was tough. They got through that, by far and away the hardest of the competition. Then Manchester United having to go to Old Trafford to win, and so now maybe you could say, well, the reward is Galatasaray. I think they will look at this and they will think as well that while it is true that in theory at least it's difficult to go there, and we'll be told over the next 3 weeks we'll get the endless cliches about welcome to hell and all the rest of it. But if Madrid can set it up well with a good first leg victory, then I think, to be honest, they can go to Istanbul and not have any worries at all. Let's
talk a little bit about Galatasaray, because they do have some big names in their team. No bigger than Didier Drogba.
No, but I think what that also tells you is something about their approach to this competition. They essentially, in the winter transfer window, they went for Didier Drogba and Wesley Sneijder, two players who, of course, are very well known. Drogba, who won the Champions League not so very long ago with Chelsea, 8 months ago, only that, maybe a little bit more now. Wesley Sneijder won the Champions League with Inter Milan, who of course played at Real Madrid. But these are two guys who they could get because they were coming towards the end of their careers. Now, that doesn't mean they're not good, it doesn't mean they can't perform, it doesn't mean they don't still compete. But they picked them up because they'd seen the draw against Schalke, and there was a belief that, wow, that means we're just one round from the quarterfinals, and then it opens up, and then who knows what will happen. They'll be very disappointed to get Real Madrid, because they would have thought, right, we did the difficult thing, which was in the winter window being bold. Go and buy two players to get us through the Champions League round. In that sense, it's worked, but they would have hoped for a more benevolent draw this time round, and I think deep down they know that they're very unlikely to progress. From
a Real Madrid perspective, you seem pretty confident that Real Madrid are going to progress here.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, this is going to sound very cruel, and I don't mean it to, but Galatasaray's left-back is Albert Riera, up against Cristiano Ronaldo. And it's not just that Albert Riera is not a great left-back, it's that he's not a left-back. And they're a very bold team, they're a very attacking team, which, as we've seen this season, is not what you need if you're going to be a theoretically weaker team getting a result against Real Madrid. If you're going to be a theoretically weaker team getting a result against Real Madrid, you play deep, you deny them space, and you don't open up. Galatasaray, generally speaking, do open up, although it is true that Fatih Terim has changed their styles a few times, from 4-4-2 to a midfield diamond and so on. So it's difficult to know exactly how they'll approach it. But I just don't think Madrid have anything to worry about.
Madrid playing the first leg at home, the second leg away. We saw that it worked okay in the last round.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a problem, because, as you say, that even let's make the assumption that the away leg is tough. Let's make that assumption. Let's assume that they're going to be in a hostile environment, blah blah blah, all the rest of it. Personally, I think that's not really the case. I think most Madrid players have played in difficult enough environments that they know how to handle that. But if they go there having very close to put the tie to bed in the first leg, and I think they will, then actually all of that hostility evaporates a little bit.
Well, let's hear from Real Madrid assistant manager Aitor Karanka, who's been giving his thoughts on the draw.
It would be a big mistake to think that this will be an easy tie. They've got some really experienced players who've been here with us in the past, players like Didier Drogba, who we all know, so it's going to be a really tough tie.
Aitor Karanka speaking there. Right, let's take you through the other ties in the quarterfinals of the Champions League and show you who's up against who in the last eight. Malaga's reward for making the quarterfinals in their debut season of the Champions League is a match against Borussia Dortmund. Not easy for the Andalusians. Real Madrid taking on Galatasaray. PSG hosting Barcelona in the first leg, and I suppose the tie of the round from a neutral perspective is Bayern Munich against Juventus.
Yeah, it really is. It's a real pity though, because look at the dates. and it clashes with Real Madrid-Galatasaray. It's a real shame. I think that is the most exciting of them. I think in truth, if you look at the other three, you would say you'd be pretty happy to make a prediction as to which three teams will go through from those. Juventus Bayern Munich is far, far harder to call.
Speaking of predictions, just time for me to ask you what you think is going to happen in this time.
I think Madrid will get a big enough lead in the first leg that the second leg won't particularly matter. I think they're going to win. I'm going to go for a 3-0 in the first leg and then maybe go away and lose 1-0 or something like that, but knowing that 1-0 is more than enough.
Safe progression to the semi-finals. Sounds good to me. That's all we've got time for on this Champions League edition of The Match. Thanks for joining us. From Sid and myself, it's adios.